Masechet Ketubot Daf 6A1. We were talking about how is the halacha. So if you remember, we said, is it permitted to have relations with Betula the first time on a Friday night or not? In the Academy of Rabbi, they said that according to Shtat Rav, it's going to be permitted. And in the Academy of Shemuel, they said it's going to be asur. But Naharda, which is in the city of Shemuel, Amri, the exact opposite. The Rav said that it's going to be asur, and Shemuel said that it's going to be permitted. Okay, this is where we left off with. Yes. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. V'simaneh. What's the siman? Elu mekilin la'atzman, ve'elu mekilin la'atzman. Did you realize? Each one was mekel for themselves. Meaning each one, they went and they said, who's those three? The other shita. But for us to mekilin, so it comes out that they were all mekel, that there's no problem of having relations with the betula the first time on Shabbat. So says the Gemara, the Rav Shari, are you going to tell me that according to Rav, it's mutar to be involved in Betula Shabbat? The Amar Rav Shimi bar Chizkiya Mishmed the Rav. Says Rav Shimi bar Chizkiya in the name of Chizkiya, right? Bar Chizkiya in the name of Rav. Hai Misukraya de Nezaita. This is the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat. The Gemara is talking about that when you have a barrel of wine, and what you do is that you put inside of it, right? What you do is you put inside of it a beged, a clothing, in order to stop the naked. Okay? Barrel of wine. How do I make a spout? The spout is the mouthpiece in order to open up, in order to drink, right? I'm not going to make it on the top of the barrel, obviously, right? You do it on the top, on the bottom. On the bottom, what they used to do is they used to make it, and sometimes they used to take a cloth and they used to plug, right? What does that mean? They used to plug it in, and that would stop it, right? With the pressure, it would stop it from leaking out. So here it says, Mesukraya tenezaita. It's a stima of a nekiv of a yigit shechar. We're talking about a barrel of beer, right? Which is the beged, right? Which they come in their sotem the nekiv. It's a beged, it's clothing. They used to use the clothing. They used to plug it in. Asula, exactly. What do we do? Asula doka biyom atava. You're not allowed to put it in its place on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Why? Because when you plug it in, what happens? You're squeezing it and it's coming out. So therefore, he comes and he says, Rav says it's asur to do it, even though it's the Rosh Hashanah. You don't care now about the squeezing or not squeezing. You don't have kavanah. You want to plug the hole. That's what you want to do. But here, the fact that it's the Rosh Hashanah, it's still asur. So how could Rav here tell you that it's mutar to have a relation with the Betula on Shabbat, even though you're going to cause bleeding? But the Rosh Hashanah, you don't have kavanah for the blood, right? No, 1 second. Forget the Hechal and all this. You don't have kavanah. So answers the Gemara. In that case of Sukraya de Zaita, even Rabbi Shimon, that says the Rosh Hashanah is mutar, he also is modeh that it's a sur. Why? Listen to the general rule. Because Abaye and Rava both said, modeh Rabbi Shimon b'psik reshe velo yamut. Rabbi Shimon and right as Abaye and Rava saying in Shitat Rabbi Shimon that even according to Shitat Rabbi Shimon, he is modeh of what? That's psik reshe. What is psik reshe? If you're going to come and you're going to cut off a chicken's head, yeah, can you say that you didn't have kavanah that it's going to die? Obviously, you have kavanah that it's going to die because even though you didn't want it to die, it's inevitable. Inevitable means you cut the chicken's head off; it's for sure going to die. Psik reshe, pasik reshe, right? To take off his head, right? Velayamut, it's not going to die. Obviously, it's going to die. So therefore, in that case, even if you're going to tell me it's the Rosh Hashanah, which means you don't have kavanah to do it, if it's inevitable, it's psik reshe. I'll give you an example. A person wants to come and they want to open up the fridge, and the light will turn on. Sorry. That is called a psik reshe. Why? Even though you don't care about light, you don't have kavanah for the light turn on. You want to open up the fridge to get whatever you have in the fridge. You want to take something out or put something in. The fact that it's inevitable, the fact that you open up, it's automatic that it's going to turn on. That's called psik reshe. So even according to the Shimon, it's going to be asur. When is the Davar Shemikaven going to be mutar? Only in a case where it's not inevitable. For example, you're walking, it's not inevitable. For example, you're walking on the grass, right? And all of a sudden you pluck out some grass. So it's not inevitable. Or you're killing an ant when you're walking. It's not inevitable, right? So in all these cases, right? In all these cases, there's no problem whatsoever of Davar Shemikaven. Because you don't have kavanah in what you're doing. Okay, this is the general rule of Davar Shemikaven. If it's inevitable, then what happens, right? Then it's going to be prohibited. Says Rav Chia Barashi Amarav, halacha zakir Yehuda, the Davar Shemikaven is going to be asur. Rav Chanan Barami Amar Shmuel Achak, it's going to be mutar. Rav Chia Baravi Matzila Velo Gavri. Rav Chia Baravi, he taught it without any people, meaning without the machloket Rav and Shmuel. He just says, what's halacha like? Rav says halacha zakir Yehuda, Shmuel says halacha zakir Shimon. So ever since we learned with Furash that Rav does not pass like Rabbi Shimon, so then how is it going to be mutar to be boiled betula b'Shabbat? If you tell me that it's going to be because the Davar Shemikaven is mutar, it makes sense. But if you're going to tell me the Davar Shemikaven is asur, why would it be mutar to have relations with a betula on Shabbat? So answers the Gemara, Leolam, Rav Rav Yehuda says, really be'emet Rav holds like Rav Yehuda. V'lehat lishna ta'amar dam nifkapakid. Right now, even if you're going to tell me that it's dam nifkapakid, which means that the blood is like gathered together in one place, and you're not making a chabura, meaning you're not punching and taking out a bruise. The blood is just like in a sack, and all you do is you pluck, and the blood comes out. That's dam mikalpaki. Mikalkel wetzel petach. You're still mikalkel by the petach, which means that in the end of the day, when you come and you make an entrance, you're being mikalkel, and therefore, even according to Shitat Rabbi Yehuda, it's going to be mutar. And even according to the Mishnah, they're saying that the blood is actually a chabura, mekalkel b'chabura. You're being mekalkel b'chabura. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's going to be patur, right? Which is mekalkel. It's going to be okay. Mekalkel means you're making it worse. So basically, whichever way you want to go, we're going to be mekel by the betula on Shabbat because of this. Okay, fine. But we're still there. We're still trying to judge. Is it permitted to have relations with the betula on Shabbat, or is it prohibited? So mati Rav Chasta. This is the first time. Mati Rav Chasta. Rav Chasta comes and he asks the following question: Tinoket shelo higia zman alidot. What about a girl, but she's not supposed to have a period? So that means I'm not going to suspect that in the middle she's going to start having a period. She's a tinoket. She's let's say a 10-year-old. Yeah. So or a 9-year-old. Yeah. Niset. She gets married. She gets married. So Bet Shammai comes and he says, Notnila arba lelot. That means even though she comes and she's having relations and she's seeing blood, we're going to say it's done betulim. For how many nights? 4 nights. And he's allowed to continue having relations. No problem. Bet Hillel says, Ad shetichya makah, until it cures. Which means that as long as she's still bleeding, she's permitted. Because that means she's got a makah. Right? This is like a makah. And therefore it's going to be permitted. Right? She's going to be permitted until it stops. Yeah, it stops the blood. Obviously, once the blood stops, it means that she healed. Once she healed, so now it's going to be asur. So this is that tinoket. Why a tinoket? Because I don't suspect that she's going to see a period. Make sense? Makes sense. Yeah, what happens now if she could already come and see, which means she's at the time that she could see her period. When he said and she gets married, Bet Shammai says, we give her the first night. Bet Hillel says, Ad Motzei Shabbat, until Motzei Shabbat, arba lelot, right? 4 nights. Okay? So basically, what's happening is you realize that Hillel is always going to be mekel. So in the first case, that Hillel was mekel because Bet Shammai said it's a tinoket 4 nights. Bet Hillel shetichya makah. He could be an entire week with you. As long as she's still bleeding, no problem. Next case, which means she could see her period. Here it's opposite. Not opposite, meaning that it's much stricter. Bet Shammai says, Laila Dishona, Bet Hillel says, Motzei Shabbat Arba Leilut, 4 nights. Vav Amud Bet. Yeah? Says Vav Amud Bet. Yeah? He says again. 6b. My love. Are we not talking about the Hilo Baal? Matzi Ba'ila Filu B'Shabbat. Are we not talking about that if a person does not have relations, they can have the relations even on Friday night? So answers the Gemara, no, levar Shabbat, except for Shabbat. What does that mean? The Kavanah of the Mishnah is not talking about that we're permitting, right, on the Friday night. We're talking about except for Shabbat. Shabbat is a surah on Shabbat to have relations with a Betula. It's going to cause it to bleed. So Elmaleh says, if you tell me 4 nights, that's until Motzei Shabbat. So obviously it's including the night of Shabbat. So he says, no, you already have relations. And since you already had relations, right, that's why you're allowed to continue. So says the Gemara, if you already had relations, my Kamashmalan. What are we coming to teach you? There's no chidush. He says, no, Kamashmalan come to teach you, the Shari Nibal B'Shabbat, you're not have relations on Shabbat. Kedesh Shmuel, Shmuel says, imagine right now you have a hole in the wall, but it's not that big. So you could pass through, even though you're taking away, you're squeezing yourself, you're breaking off some of the rocks, the stones, with the edges. So the same thing. Here, a person already had relations with her before Shabbat, right? But he only made a pizza, right? He didn't make a good path, right? It's only the first time. So what happens? Every single time that he keeps on going in, he's enlarging, right? He's breaking through, even though he's taking off the psorot on the side. So that's what's going to be the chidush. It's going to be mutar. Nowadays, by the way, it's completely different because remember, right, that nowadays it's already she's a bogeret. So therefore, according to everybody, then it's going to be meaning that since she's already older, she already received her period. So therefore, we're only going to give her that first relations. Okay. So Mati Rabbi Yosef comes and asks a question from Misham Berachot. Now we're going to Yechol Berachot, right? To do with Kriyat Shema. Remember, Shas Katan. Remember all throughout, right? Chatan Patur Mikriyat Shema Laila Rishon ve'Am Mosei Shabbat. A Chatan is exempt from Kriyat Shema on the first night until Motzei Shabbat. If he didn't do an action, meaning as long as he didn't have a relation with her, he's Patur Kriyat Shema. Yeah. So he says, my love. We're not talking about the tarid by the that he's tarud. What does it mean he's tarud? He has to have relations, right? What does that mean? He has to have relations. Okay, so therefore he's tarud. So therefore you see from here, as mutar livo, even on Shabbat, not like Shemuel, because if he's going to be patur from Kriyat Shema even until Motzei Shabbat, that means on Friday night he's patur. Why is he patur on Friday night? Because he's going to have relations, right? But 1 second, so you said you can do it on Friday night, right? So Elmaleh says, lo, the tarid de lo bay. The tirda is that he wasn't matzliach until now, which means not always does a chatan have the success, right, of having it on the Friday on the first night, right? The success rate is low, so therefore, since right, it's what? Right? He comes and he says like this. He says, Amar le Rabba, says Rabba, Umishum tirda patur. You're going to tell me that because the chatan is tarud, right? He's occupied. So because that he's going to be patur from Kriyat Shema. Ela me'ata, we're going to have this is a very famous question also when you go into Berachot, right? Tavas finato bayam. Imagine right now somebody's boat, it's sunk. So what? Everything's weird. Patur. Why? Because he's mitztaer. So fine. He's worried. He's old. He has to have the relations, and he's nervous. He's a bull in there. You have to understand that, yeah? So now what happens is that what? And you're going to tell me it's patur. You're going to tell me, it's going to be patur. An Avel is going to be chayav in all of the mitzvot which are brought down in the Torah, except for the tefillin. Remember, there's a lot of people that put on the tefillin only after the bracha on tifara, because the tifara, the pe'er, is the tefillin, and that's why on Tisha B'Av, when do we put on tefillin? Right, by minchata, and that's when we come and say lasu nabelet tefillin on pe'er tachat efer. In the morning we have efer on the head, we have ashes. In the afternoon we have pe'er, we have the glory. What's the glory? The tefillin. The tefillin are called pe'er. Kechatan yechaen pe'er. Techakala tadeh chelea. What does that mean? The chatan, he comes and he puts on the right. That's why there was such a concept. Putting on tefillin when you get married. Kechatan yechaen pe'er. Right, he's adorning the pe'er. So says the Gemara, and Rabbi says, tonight, you're right. It's a machloka tonight. Tanach, there was one right that taught him no asa ma'aseh. If he doesn't do an action, meaning if he didn't have Padishon on the first night, Patur af Sheni, he's going to be Patur from the Sheni. Sheni, Patur af Shlishi. Tanya Idach, another one taught, no. Dishon Sheni is going to be Patur, Shlishi is going to be Chayav. It's only the first 2 nights he's going to be Patur from the Kriyat Shema. But on the 3rd night, which is going to be the Lil Shabbat, he's going to be Chayav. So you see from here that he's going to be Chayav if he didn't have the relations. Why? Because he's not allowed to have relations on Shabbat. So it comes out that you're not allowed to have relations from the Shabbat according to this machloket that we just brought down. So it says, no, we're not talking about it. Yeah. They're arguing to do the concept of tilda, which means, is he going to be tarud or not? Tanai 99. This machloket Tanim is like the other machloket. Tanim was going to write, so here it's written mefurash that somebody that gets married to a betula, he's not supposed to have relations the first time on Shabbat. The chachamim they permit. Man chachamim, who's the chachamim that they permit relations on Shabbat? Amar Rabbi says b'shimoni. It's a b'shimon. Tamar davar shemikaven mutar. He says davar shemikaven is going to be mutar. So Elmaleh Abai comes and says tamod b'shimon b'psik reisha b'yimut. One second, but b'shimon he was moving b'psik reisha. This is a psik reisha. Even if you don't have kavanah, at the end he's still going to plead. Elmaleh tells them, "Lo kalalu bavlim shen bekim b'ataya." Not like these bavlim that they're not experts, right? In hataya. Hataya means that they're going on the side, that they're not going to take out blood. Ela yes, bekim b'ataya. But there are people which are bekim b'ataya. What does that mean? There's a concept going batzad. Meaning the bavlim they don't know how to go batzad, right? They go yashar. Right? Exactly. Right? But here they go outside. They're able to go on from the side, but they're not going to break the betulim. The betulim is at the entrance of the vaginal canal. What happens is if they go through the side, if they go into a side door, they don't break through the front. They don't break. If so, right? If you're going to tell me now that we're talking about, right, the tnaim that certain people, whether they know how to do bataya, right? So therefore he says, Tored Lama. So why is that Tirda? If he knows how to do bataya, which means that he knows how to have relations coming through his side, and there, so then they should obligate him to catch him up. But why is he tarud? He's tarud because he doesn't. So man, but even for a person that doesn't know, right, how to do it. So it says the Gemara, you can tell me, if he's baki, it's going to be mutar, but not baki, it's going to be asur. So he said, no, rob bekin. Majority of people are bekin and ataya. Okay, so Elmaleh, Rava, right, Barhana, Labai. Ela miata, shushbenim lama. If you're going to tell me that they know how to do ataya, so why do you need shushbenim, right? And why do you need a mapa? You know what the mapa is? The first time, right, after relations, meaning the first time what they do is they put a white towel, right, underneath them. And therefore, if they put a white towel underneath them, right, there, the blood would come and the towel. And you could see it. So they actually also have shushbenim. What is a shushbenim? Right? The shushbenim are people which are going to make sure that the chatan is not going to pull a fast one. Right? The chatan, maybe he's going to pull a fast one. He'll take out the towel. He'll put another white towel. He'll come and he says, Shikana betula. And then he comes, he throws her out, this and that. She was a betula. So they had shushbenim to make sure, right? They were right outside making sure, right? Shushbenim were the people that they were making sure that they were mashkichim. That there was a mashkiach that the chatan was not going to pull a fast one, right? Which one? No, they were outside. They were right outside. And they were ready. So mapa, lama, and also they had a mapa, which means like this, right? Right now, right? So if you're going to tell me now that the majority of people are bekim, if the majority of people are bekim, right, do hataya, which means they go in from the side, which means that they're not going to break the betulim. So why do you need the shushbenim? And why do you need the mapa? So Elmaleh says, Hatam, over there, the chashash is that maybe they're going to bring to the chatan, right? Only Shema Yiredam Betulim V'Yatovi Abed. And then he's going to come and he's going to say, they lost the town. They lost the town. In order that he could come and say that he didn't find her Betulim, which means we're not going to be choshesh for the ma'ut of the chatan unless that he's Baal without the tayah, and then he took out the Betulim. Because then we're going to say that maybe he's going to get rid of the Simanei Betulim and he's going to say that she was a Beula. But if Be'emet he did a tayah and he didn't take out the Betulim, we're not going to suspect for Ramaut, because maybe he's going to say that he Baal Karari because there was no blood. So she's going to say she's a time of Betula. Right? She's going to say, I'm still a Betula. Understand? So Mati Ravami comes and he asks the following question. Right? Now we're going to try to understand, according to the Shita, that, right, according to the Shita of why is it going to be a sul to be Boel Betula on Shabbat or not? Hamafis Musa. Right? Let's say a person has a pimple. Yeah? And they pop the pimple on Shabbat in order to take out the pus, the mugla. So is that from a piece Musa b'Shabbat? In la'asot la'peh, if the kavanah is in order to make an entrance, sheyeh kavua, you're chayav mishum boneh. However, though, if it's only just to take out the lecha, if it's only to take out the mucus, right? Zayin Amud Aleph, patur. You're going to be patur. And the lecha is that you're allowed to do so even lechatechila, because you're mitztahed, it's a whole thing over there. So instead, from this is the Mishnah. That from this Mishnah, it's a question, why would you say that it's going to be a sur to have relations the first time on Shabbat? Just like you're allowed to take out the mugla, which is the pus from a pimple, you should be able to take out the blood from the pimpula. Right? That's what we're asking. Answers the Gemara. Hatam pakid ve'akir, ve'hacha pakid ve'lo akir. He says no. The lecha, right, the mucus, is inside, right, of the bubble, like a picadon, like a security. It's completely separate. All you have to do is separate from the basar, right? And anyway, it's going to come out. The second you make the pop, boom, it comes out. He says here, the dam betulim, it's pakid, it's inside, but it's lo akid, right? But it's not mechubar to the basar like other parts of the body, right? It's not nifrad like the basar legam. It's balua a little bit inside of the kotle bet alechem. So it's not 100%. It's not like you pop and it comes out, right? It means it is a little bit absorbed inside and therefore has to come out. So because of that, it's going to be a sul because of chovel. And then again, we continue. Tomorrow when we actually do finish with the halachot, we'll speak about what's halacha l'maaseh as well.